Hey everybody!
I'm Roxane Webster.
I'm Keith Alba.
Supply and demand. We all know that term. What is supply and demand? But is it possible that not everybody knows how that applies to real estate?
Go back to your high school economics 101, right? And that's where this concept comes from. And it really across almost any product
Any
for sale
product.
that you're gonna see this, right? And it's an inverse relationship in regards to real estate and in talking about supply and demand. So if supply is up and demand is low, what happens to prices, Rox?
Supply is up and demand is low. Prices tend to go down.
Right? That's the piece, right? The houses are sitting on the market. In cases like that, you're probably in days on market over 6 months worth of inventory that's out there. So there's a lot of options for buyers to look at, to purchase, to be picky about, and then they have negotiation leverage.
That's right.
They're going to come in and they're going to say, you know what, I like this house the best, but I also like that one down the street a little bit less, but not terrible. But if I can get this price on this house, and they start negotiating down. They've got the power.
A great example of this was the Great Recession, right? We had a ton of houses on the market because there were so many foreclosures available, but we didn't have too many buyers because you had high unemployment levels, not a lot of people were buying.
Lending was a mess.
Lending was a mess, so we had very few buyers and a ton of houses. So the few buyers that there were could choose from 20 or 30 houses, and if that was the case, that brought the values down.
Right. Exactly. And the opposite of that is very true, and that's what we're currently and have been experiencing for the last few years, right? Supply is low and demand is high. We got all these people that want to move into a house, they want to move to Colorado. We've been increasing our population. I don't know, but last year I haven't seen those numbers yet.
Employment is good and solid here, right? So we've got more buyers than houses to sell them to, and we have since before COVID, right? So as a result, that's where you saw in 2021 and 2022, sometimes people getting 30, 40, 50 offers on a house, right? Yep. And if you're competing with another 10 or 12 or even one other person for the purchase of that house, you have to make your offer more appealing to the buyer, right? So the supply is low, the demand is high, that tends to drive prices up.
That's right.
Yeah. And we've seen that example in the past couple of years. One other thing on supply and demand, when we're looking at it from a seller's perspective, can you control supply at all?
No choice.
No choice, unless you're getting out, and you can't. You can't go out and build extra houses. You can't do anything to impact the supply of houses.
Unless I guess you have a large portfolio of rental properties.
That's right.
And a large, I mean, you're talking thousands.
Right? So we can't, as sellers, if you're a seller, there's nothing you can do to impact the supply side of that equation. The only thing you can do is potentially impact the demand. Right? So with the type of things that we see that influence the demand side of that is how do you make your house in higher demand? How do you make it more desirable? Obviously there's price, there's condition, curb appeal, great marketing,
staging, photos, right? You've been telling this for years when online came about and Zillow and some of these other places. Real estate agents, we have to sell the property twice. Right? First online, and then again in person. And those photos, the staging, the appeal, as Rox is talking about, obviously all creates that first sale portion of it, gets them into the door, and then the features from there will sell the property.
And then the other thing you can do to increase the demand is offer to pay a cooperating agent a cooperating compensation to the agent representing the buyer, right? This is something that we've seen largely in the marketplace for the past 100 years. And that conversation is becoming more pointed and more important this year. I'm sure you've been watching the news in the past week. But that is a conversation to consider carefully with your agent. If you have any questions about it, please reach out to us. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell for more of this content.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to seeing you in the next one, and see you then.